We're here at the Church of Perpetual Life, the world's first transhumanist church. The parishioners here call themselves immortalists. They believe that science and technology are the key to extending human life, with the ultimate goal of immortality, physical immortality.
Who says I have to die? Death is horror. It shouldn't happen to anybody. It's not natural to die.
We feel the Creator intended for mankind to develop these technologies that will result in humans living for indefinite time periods. We are fighting against involuntary death and view immortality as the ultimate solution to every problem mankind faces.
When I was very young, I was trying to understand what death is, so I asked my dad, I said, what is it like to die? And he said, lay on the ground, close your eyes, and you can't feel, you can't think anything, you're dead. When you're dead, you're dead. So after that sad moment of fully fathoming death for the first time, I decided to study the causes of aging so that I could live indefinitely.
Don't you think that dying is the one thing that happens to all of us, so it brings us all together?
No. Every single painting in this house was done by my mother. She's an artist. She's been an artist her whole life. She writes Cox on all of her paintings, which is her last name. You can video my father right there.
That's
the
your dad?
painting of him. I think that'd be cool.
This is Nick. He's one of the youngest members of a unique church that follows the teachings of transhumanism, which has become a newfound religion here in Florida. He invited me to his house to talk about his quest for immortality.
I am very conscious of the fact that I am getting older and aging. I would do anything to live forever.
What is the Church of Perpetual Life?
The Church of Perpetual Life hosts events where well-known scientists can speak. They're very enthusiastic and passionate about the fact that they want to live forever. I have to ensure that I am in the 0.001% that survives into the future.
And what's in your room?
In my room are all my secrets. This is my box that I will ship my cat in to be cryopreserved.
And you're getting your cat cryonically preserved.
Oh yes, definitely. She's my princess.
How do you preserve a cat? Wow, oh, you have the whole kit.
Yep, all I have to do is put her in here and tape it shut.
That's love.
It is love.
The famous Susan. So you're kind of fascinated with death, really.
I will defeat aging or die trying. And if I die, I fail.
Well, I mean, fail, that seems like a pretty radical thing to say. I mean, if you spend your whole life doing something that you love, is that a failure?
Absolutely. Once we begin to repair the body quicker than it decay, and eventually the body will be able to sustain itself.
Nick is passionate, to say the least, about eternal life. But the beliefs that he holds about transhumanism can be seen throughout human history. Transhumanism is a belief system that science and technology will lead to indefinite life. Its beginnings date back to the ancient search for the fountain of youth, something that explorers throughout history have set out to find, and one of the many examples of mankind's obsession with mortality. Transhumanism is based on two core beliefs: that biological immortality is in fact possible through scientific advancements, and that one day human consciousness will be digitized so it can exist in a computer, or say robots, that do not endure the physical setbacks of a biological body, fundamentally revolutionizing what it means to be human.
Over the past few decades, tremendous advancements have been made in the field of neuroscience, from mapping the human brain to creating devices that can capture digital images of our thoughts. But what if we could upload a digital copy of our memories and consciousness to a point that human beings could actually achieve a sort of digital immortality?
Transhumanists also believe in cryonics, freezing one's body post-mortem in the hope of being brought back to life in a distant future.
A freezing liquid replaces the blood supply, and the subject is wrapped in aluminum foil and placed in a capsule at 220 degrees below 0 centigrade.
The fundamental groundwork of transhumanism was first laid in the 1920s by the British geneticist J.B.S. Haldane, who wrote an essay called Science and the Future. He predicted that there would be great benefits from advancements in sciences to human biology, but he also predicted that every one of those advances would first be seen as blasphemy or perversion.
Through such operations, impossible 10 years ago, the physical and mental health of many are being restored.
Haldane's essay inspired a biologist by the name of Julian Huxley, who's widely known as the founder of transhumanism. Julian Huxley is responsible for popularizing the term in 1957, and his work has since inspired several philosophers, many tech tycoons in Silicon Valley, and inventors like Raymond Kurzweil.
In addition to radical life extension, we're going to have radical life expansion. We're going to have millions of virtual environments to explore. We're going to literally expand our brains.
Ironically, one of the more famous explorers who set out to actually find the Fountain of Youth was Juan Ponce de Leon from Spain, whose journey accidentally led him to discover what is now the state of Florida, which is where this man founded the world's first transhumanist church. Hi!
Hey, nice to see you guys. Welcome to the semi-mausoleum. I get an email update almost weekly about who's expiring.
Really?
It gives me incentive.
That's good, I suppose.
Gives me incentive to work harder, to delay this aging process, eventually eliminate it. Okay, let's go to church.
Let's go to church. So you don't believe in an afterlife?
No, I really don't. I think this is where we were meant to be in perpetuity. And it's why we set this church up, to promote indefinitely extended, healthy human lifespans. I fear not being alive.
What's the difference?
Since aging and death get in the way of not being alive, I guess I can say I fear that too. But really, the fact of not being here, to me, should be the greatest fear people have.
So what can we expect tonight from this service?
Well, tonight we're going to discuss philosophies about lifespan limitations, the virtues of physical immortality, is to motivate people to appreciate how good life is.
I joined the club.
There you grow to be proud, dignified and true.
Everyone in this room has a chance to see eternity. Begin to plan for your eternity now because it's happening. I'm inviting you tonight to join us in this.
Forever young, forever young, forever young.
We are all united in our common desire of having long, healthy lives. We here at Perpetual Life wish to achieve indefinitely extended lifespans, and we embrace the use of technologies that help us all toward these goals.
Services here take place monthly, and they usually feature several guest speakers who come and give their sermons on how we can fight death.
They're creating ways for the body to walk free of many things. I tell my kids, don't look for an inheritance from me. I'm not dying and leaving one.
While some are more zealous than others, like this woman from People Unlimited, a radical immortalist group out of Arizona, many of the church's guest speakers come from all over the country and are legitimate researchers and scientists who speak about things like stem cell regeneration and advancements being made in reversing the effects of aging.
We're huge fans of Bill Faloon and everything that he has done to create an ability for there to be joyful immortality for everybody.
People who really are committed to the anti-aging concept, to people who really understand that aging is the world's worst problem.
We are born with 20,000 stem cells. The stem cells are the fountain of youth. If we can maintain the 20,000, we can live indefinitely.
Faloon himself also speaks at every service to stress the importance of explorative medicine and supporting new research.
And what they're finding now, using animal studies, that the brains of older animals can be rejuvenated, can be brought back into a more youthful, functional, and structural condition. This is earth-shattering.
sometimes it's very difficult to draw a line about what seems crazy and what doesn't seem crazy, because crazier things have happened. I mean, we went to the moon. I mean, we are capable of all kinds of things as a human race, but where do you draw the line and say, oh, that's really science fiction, that's never going to happen? Let's go downstairs and meet some parishioners. So you believe you are not going to die?
I do.
You do?
I do, 100%.
100%? That's all, you don't have a shadow of doubt in your mind?
No.
That must be a very liberating feeling.
It is.
I feel privileged to be around this environment that all the time reminds me that I'm physically mortal.
There's ways to enhance who we are and what we're going for. You don't have to be afraid of anything. There's nothing to be afraid of.
What appeals to you about immortality? What would you do with your life if you knew that you could live?
I want to see the future, and I'm going for 150 and beyond.
So what do you do to make it to 150?
Once you perfect repair of your DNA and your body, then life is indefinite.
Why do you think it's so hard for people to wrap their heads around this as a concept?
I think they don't believe it. As a comparison, you take antibiotics or heart surgery, and those were radical things when they came out, and people didn't want to take them. Mm-hmm. And so life extension is a lot like that now.
He has a point. From bionic transplants to new age medical procedures and huge advancements in medicine, science and technology remain the most efficient way to extend the human lifespan. Back in the 40s, people were only living to be about 59 years old, and today's life expectancy is upwards of 80. So is it really crazy to think we couldn't extend it well beyond that? In a way, believing in the future of science seems more reliable than other religions that are focused on things like reincarnation, an afterlife, or the mythical place called heaven. So this is how much food you eat every day?
I eat very little.
Bill practices a form of extremely restricted calorie intake. There's some scientific research that suggests that people who eat less calories can live longer, healthier. So Bill only eats one meal a day, tries to keep it under 1,200 calories.
I think that's half of what people normally eat. When I say normal, that's just healthy people.
Bill also has a passion for taking vitamins and off-label prescription drugs, something he openly encourages during church services.
This is a prescription drug. It's called metformin. Okay. It's prescribed for type 2 diabetics. I'm not diabetic. We urge all of our members to beg their doctors to please prescribe metformin, because it has been documented to slow certain aspects of aging. Now, all of these are just vitamins that people take, multi, fish oil. I've already taken probably the equivalent of 40 or 50 pills already.
In addition to being a devoted missionary of science, Faloon is also a serious entrepreneur. The pills he's taking are actually from a company that he started in the 80s called Life Extension. The company has a foundation and a buyer's club. The Buyers Club has over 100,000 members and has generated millions of dollars by selling vitamins and supplements.
We've just all become members of Life Extension, which I'm really excited about because I love their products.
Do you want to look better, feel younger, and live longer? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Life Extension. We have over 350 science-based supplements that you can use, and as a member, you'll get 25 to 50% discount on all of them.
Life Extension has made Faloon and his partner Saul Kent pretty wealthy, but also pretty controversial. In 1991, the FDA came down on them for conspiring to distribute off-label drugs and supplements to club members.
Millions of Americans suffer and die each year because of the FDA's inability to do what it's supposed to.
Faloon took the FDA to court, and after several years of litigation, he won. Then, in 2013, the IRS revoked the 501c3 nonprofit status of the foundation, claiming that they were donating large funds to organizations that directly link back to Faloon and Kent. Soon afterwards, they founded this church, which they claim is just a meeting place for like-minded individuals. But since churches don't generally file taxes or financial disclosure forms, it could be seen as a way for them to work around their tax-exempt status laws. Faloon adamantly claims that the foundation, the Buyers Club, and the church are all completely separate entities. After leaving the church service, I reached out to the corporate office of the Life Extension Foundation, who declined my request for an interview. So I decided to check out one of their retail stores. We just want to talk about nutritional supplements.
No, you can't come in and the place is being called.
Okay, okay. I think they just do not want to be part of this documentary at all, do not want to be associated with the Church of Perpetual Life or transhumanism. I I wanted to understand why we've never been able to fully accept death as a part of life. So I met up with Dr. Bayok, a physician who treats patients who are in their final stages of life.
In American culture, certainly mainstream culture, we avoid talking about illness and dying and thinking about it in many, many ways. The awareness of our mortality has been a fundamental part of the human psyche. I have no lack of enthusiasm to advance scientific research, but I don't think that that should be used to deny the fact of death. I think it diminishes the richness of human life because, the fullness of human life is living life consciously as a mortal being.
Okay, well, let's talk about transhumanism then, because as a medical professional, is this something that you think belongs in a medical conversation?
For some people, there is a form of religiosity that feels very much like transhumanism. Mm-hmm. And while not denigrating religions, I think that there are some cultish groups that also have promoted a belief in another alternate reality. Many people who start new religions, I think, have both deep beliefs and economic motivations. As a physician, I'm there to protect and preserve and save lives. That's first and foremost. It turns out, however, that we have yet to make even one person immortal.
You founded this church in 2013, not long after you guys lost your not-for-profit status.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did that happen? I mean, I read somewhere that there was a whistleblower or something.
Yeah, probably. Whistleblowers and just technicalities. That's the best way to succinctly describe it. They looked and picked every technicality they could. We are in settlement talks. We're hoping it gets resolved. If not, we'll be in litigation with the IRS like we were with the FDA for 9 long years.
How did you set about structuring this as a church as opposed to a club or a meeting group? Why make it a church?
There is a sense of belonging that human beings seem to have, and that seems to be a very powerful force in religion. Technology is advanced to a point where aging can be controlled somewhat. Mm-hmm. It may be reversible to some degree, and that's our objective. Just get the word out there, bring people together and talk, communicate, exchange ideas.
But churches are tax exempt.
Yes.
Right, but you don't really do any financial dealings through the church?
We don't.
The church is just here as a community center for people who are interested in transhumanism.
Well, any kind of better health, biological immortality, or transhumanism. I think there's a wide range of interests.
You seem to have a calling for this.
Absolutely. I refuse to accept the concept of involuntary death. And I believe if society puts enough efforts behind eradicating the causes of involuntary death, this will result in a societal change for the better of mankind. We fund about $10 million a year in scientific research projects.
Is that sort of the goal of Life Extension Foundation in terms of it being a money-making entity? Is it really directed towards?
Its primary goal is to fund research. That's why we set it up, and that's what we're doing.
That is true. Faloon and the foundation donate a lot of money to research projects related to life extension, like that of Dr. Maharaj, who spoke at the church. He's a board-certified oncologist whose research focuses on stem cell transplants, using young stem cells to rejuvenate the immune systems of older patients.
The idea of a foundation like Life Extension Foundation supporting the study where we could extend the lives of patients who are affected by a disease, to me it's a remarkable thing, and I have a lot of admiration for someone like Bill Faloon who sees that as a way to be able to help as many people as possible.
However, aside from projects like Maharaja's, the foundation has given away $29 million to a mysterious project known as the Time Ship, which Faloon is overseeing.
We're going to build the largest cryopreservation reanimation research facility that anyone's ever imagined. It will be literally a 6-acre building.
That's a huge endeavor. That's going to be very expensive, no?
It's going to cost about $350 million.
Oh, wow. The Time Ship is planned to be a massive fortress that will house the world's most secure and technologically advanced life extension research laboratories, and up to 10,000 cryogenically preserved people, with the hope of bringing immortality to the masses.
They're really separate endeavors, but they have certainly a common goal of achieving physical immortality.
After hearing Faloon explain his plans for an immortal human race, I realized that this church, like many religions, is really another manifestation of our innate fear of death and the lengths to which the human race will go to avoid it. We're on our way to go meet Alex, who is an immortalist and has been a member of the Church of Perpetual Life for about a year. Claire.
Alex,
Nice to meet you. Why would you want to live forever?
Because this guy.
Because that guy.
Yeah. Becoming a parent, you really start to kind of think about life differently. Somebody's dependent on you, so you think about taking care of yourself better.
Do you think that he's young enough that he won't have to die?
I do. I think that all of our generation has a good shot. Like, we could, extend and who knows how long.
I still don't really understand why the Church of Perpetual Life has to be a church.
It's for the sense of community. So, for example, like me, I would consider myself an atheist, but that's one thing that is definitely lacking within the atheist community, so to speak. There really is
no fellowship. What was your first take on Bill Faloon?
Just a really smart guy. Genuine, too.
Yeah?
He comes across to me as just really somebody who is not just your average entrepreneur, but he's trying to make a difference in the world. It's not just about making money.
Alex seems like a pretty normal guy, just looking for a place to belong, which I think the church provides for him. He seems to be totally aware of the fact that the Life Extension Foundation makes millions of dollars from the sale of nutritional supplements. He remains a big supporter of Bill Faloon. If you ever felt like you were being misguided or led astray by Bill or by anyone else there?
No, definitely not any more than any other church I've ever been to.